I know the players probably feel a lot like I do. Game week is here. The excitement is in the air. Students are back on campus. There's not much more exciting than, to me, college football in the fall. When students are back, there's football in the air, and you can say that's happening here down in Lafayette here at the University of Louisiana. So really excited, ready to get the season underway. Had a great camp, very physical camp. We've pushed our way through some injuries where we had some depth issues throughout camp that really enabled us to have to back off at times a little bit. But we feel like we've gotten all those guys back. Players do not practice today. They'll be practicing tomorrow. And so we feel like we're going to have everybody full steam in tomorrow's practice as we continue our Arkansas game plan preparation. So excited about the chance to go to Fayetteville. Great crowd, it'll be a great environment. Playing, to me, a really good football team whose staff has been successful wherever they've been. So I know they'll have their team and fans on the Kool-Aid, and so we'll have to go in there and play extremely well. But our players are excited about the challenge, so we're looking forward to it.
With no real film except for the spring game and a coordinator who did one thing and a head coach that kind of did another thing, how have you guys kind of gone about preparing? What are the expectations for it?
You know, that's a huge advantage for a team when you're a new staff and you've got coaches from different places. He didn't bring all 9 assistants from Wisconsin. You know, he brought a few, then brought quite a few from other schools, and so the uncertainty of both sides of the football causes you to prepare for more than what you normally would, because you've got to try to be a little bit broad in your preparation, more broader than you would be after game 6, and you got a team on film, because every good team has tendencies. And so and most teams are going to do what they do, hang their hat on what they hang it on. So, but being the first game with some new coordinators, that makes it a little bit challenging. So hopefully we've done good research. Hopefully our preparation will pay off, and then we'll just get into the game, and we'll make, you always have to make adjustments as you go. That'll be part of the game as always, and hopefully we can make some good adjustments.
Given that, is this more of a game of making sure you do your thing rather than trying to combat what they do?
You know, that, like I said earlier, you sort of always get back to doing what you do, and hopefully we can dictate a little bit of what's going to be going on, and hopefully Terrence will continue his development this week, and I think he's really going to be ready. This guy's dialed in. He's watched more film probably of Arkansas than the coaching staff. It's been phenomenal. So the kids are preparing also away from the coaches. They're excited. We've just got to make sure that we prepare for everything.
Considering how strong both defensive lines are, is this more of a game of who can establish the run successfully?
I think this game is going to be one up front. And I think most big football games are one at the line of scrimmage. And make no mistake about it, this one will be one at the line of scrimmage. In the past, Coach Gleam has done a great job running the football. I don't see them getting away from that tough physical mentality. And I see them trying to line up and do that Saturday. And then, obviously we've had success running football too. And we're going to have to be able to run the football. And I like our backs. Our backs have had a great camp. Our offensive line has came together. So I'm hoping that we can have some success there with the run game. But I really feel like this game will be dictated on who can run the ball and who can stop the run first.
Coach, towards the end of last week, you backed off the gas, so to speak, a little bit on practice, and Saturday you guys were off, and then you went back to game week schedule, obviously last night, to let these guys get their legs back underneath them, and then they're off again today. What do they look like? I asked Justin Anderson, does he feel like he's got a little bit of hop back in his legs now? He's feeling his legs a little bit?
I thought the kids rebounded well from a tough 3 weeks of camp last night. They had really all of Friday and Saturday off, so they came back last night for practice under the lights, and I thought that they bounced around really good. And now they've got all day today and all the way up till 2 o'clock on Tuesday to get off their feet. And so I really feel like the schedule we've had these guys on is going to allow us hopefully to have them ready to go full speed on Saturday. We're gonna need fresh legs, that's for sure.
Coach, after the Florida game last year, you had said, hey, I'd do pretty much everything the same way. Having that experience going to Arkansas now, do you think, what has changed for you, I guess, as a coach, and maybe if you've learned anything from that Gators experience?
Well, I think one thing now, I think we've got total confidence in our quarterback, Terrence Broadway, and there's not many situations I don't think that he can succeed in. And if we need a 2-minute situation, and we change our mind and try to dial it, that situation happens again, I might just dial him up this time. Who knows? Last year he was, I think, starting his 3rd game ever in a pretty hostile environment. Felt our best chance was to try to win it with a great kicker, possibly in overtime. The game will always dictate the flow of the game. There's a lot of things that dictates your decision at the end of a game. What type of game has it been? Have you been able to stop them? Have they been able to stop you? And if you've been having some success on offense, who knows? We may dial it up and try to win it. But I know this: he'll be ready if the situation presents itself.
George touched on Florida, but just atmosphere and noise, playing in front of that many people. How will that help you?
Well, for anything, I think it's gonna help our kids. Our kids love playing in front of a crowd. At practice, we don't practice very well. Sometimes I'll get a little disturbed and cut the music off at practice. And practice does not have the same chipper effect or chipper feeling. When I crank the music back up at practice, we sort of resume flying around, having a lot of energy and really on the juice. And so I think the crowd, the environment, which it'll be outstanding, will do nothing but hopefully excite our players. They like playing in those type of environments. And if you're a competitor, love college football, that's what you love, playing in front of huge crowds, great environment. And plus, we've simulated the crowd noise and the fight song and all that this week. So none of that will be the first time they've heard any of that. So we've learned to communicate non-verbally, which we're pretty good at anyway, being a no-huddle team.
Their defensive ends, on film, what makes them as good as everybody seems to talk about them being? And then you got obviously 2 new offensive tackles. So how ready are those guys? Or obviously one guy's sliding over. But
We will find out soon enough. Their ends, both of those guys have great get-offs. They're great pass rushers. If you watch them, they're great with their hands off the edge. They've got some different moves, whether it's an up and under or if they can just beat you with a straight speed rush. I think they're very effective. And they're big on the inside too. So to me, they're big tackles. They're able to get a push in the center of the pocket. It sort of collapses the center of the pocket, which they try to do, and then you got the great rush off the edge. And so they do a really good job. Or they've got some talented guys, and I'm sure they're going to put them in positions that they think that they can be successful. And as far as our new tackles, at least obviously Michael is starting his 14th straight game. So even though he didn't play tackle, he's not a newcomer, and he's a natural tackle. And so I think he's going to be fine. Travian's had a great camp. I have no reason to think he won't be ready. He'll just get baptized in front of 80,000 people. And so we'll see how he does, and I'm sure he'll get better as the game goes along.
For you now, you'll have one road game opener, one home game opener. What are the differences between the two, and what are the differences of preparing for a road game as opposed to a home opener?
I always like opening. If I had my preference, obviously opening at home. It's the start of college football season, and our fans have to really wait to week 3. And to me, the best way to create the most excitement is try to have that home opener that kicks off the college football season at home. The schedule didn't fall that way this year. It has in the past, and it will in the future. But preparing, for road games is a little more difficult. It's a few more things you've got to, prepare for. We've got to go on the road. We've got all the travel logistics, and but we're a good road team, and we've been on the road quite a bit. Our first year here, we had 7 games on the road. That year too, only 5 at home. So we'll have to be totally prepared for this one. That's for sure.
Coach, how much have y'all looked at what Tennessee did last year offensively?
Well, we've looked at a broad group of universities, just trying to cover all our bases to make sure we've had a chance to look at maybe what they're doing, the coordinators, where they've been from. That's pretty standard in the business when new staff gets hired. You always sort of go back and look at where they're from, what they've done, maybe the people they've brought in, what type of influence will they add to the system. So it's, you know, it's always somewhat of a educated guess, I guess you could call it. And hopefully, you know, we're going to make some of the right decisions. Won't be totally prepared because, you know, I'm sure they're holding out some things that they haven't shown, whether it's in the spring game or things that they now are doing that they didn't do at other places. And so hopefully we can make adjustments on the run and play well.
Coach, where do you feel you're at special teams wise? You've got a lot of kids who played special teams in coverage and punt returns and kick returns that came back. So you've got a lot of experience there in coverage. But far as your special teams, where do you feel they're at? How do you feel? How comfortable you feel with them?
You know, I love our coverage units. I love the people we have on them. We've got guys that can run, that can tackle. I like our guys there. The thing that we're going to have to, you know, find out under pressure is can Broccoli and Stover kick off with the consistency that we need them to, and place the ball where it needs to be placed. There's a lot more than just kicking the ball down the field. You've got to kick it based on your coverage, the way it's set up, and then obviously Daniel Cardona with the punting game, making sure that you know, this first time that he's ever going to have played in a college football game, and it's going to be in front of 80,000 people, and he's going to be thrown in the fire pretty quick. How he can react and how he can perform at a high level with that type of environment is yet to be seen. But you know, simulating things like that in practice does not do it justice for what it really will be like game day. But both those guys are competitors, and I expect them to play awfully well.
Now you do have one true freshman in the 2 deep with Elijah being that second team running back. First, what do you like? What has really impressed you in camp to deserve that spot? And two, what's the ideal number of carries or touches that you'd like to try to get him in addition to the other backs? Because I know it's, you know, it's a really a 5 deep guy.
He's a very instinctive runner. He's the guy that puts one foot in the ground and changes direction. He don't chop his feet when he's wanting to change directions. Gets 1 foot in the ground and he's gone. And got great balance. You can always tell to me a great back has great balance, and he doesn't get knocked off his feet easily. Really can accelerate through the line of scrimmage, and if you give him a crease, he's got a chance to make a big play out of it. And so, you know, the thing you worry about with a freshman is in a big game, can he take care of the football? Can he pass protect and things like that? That's pretty typical with any freshman. But he's demonstrated in practice, and like I said, he won't be asked to do it an awful lot on Saturday. I think this is going to be a big man's game with Alonzo Harris, which we try to run the football and put some drives together. But I definitely think we'll see him as well as some of the other backs too that have played well. We've got some really talented backs that all have performed well in practice this year.
Coach, if you could just talk about, I don't know if you know him at all, Brett Bielema, and have you ever come across him in other realms of coaching?
I have not met Coach. You know, obviously being in the coach's business, you're very familiar with him and the job that he's done at Wisconsin. You know, just look what he's done at that program. Success they've had, it's just been phenomenal. And you know, now to get a call to come to the SEC, you know, he's doing some things that are right. And plus, you know, to me, he's doing it the right way. You know, he's trying to be a physical, tough football team, and that's the way he was at Wisconsin. You watch his teams play; they were tough, they were physical, well coached, special teams, offense, defense, great fundamentally, and you know, I know he's not going to get away from that there. You know, as far as the rest of the staff, I'm not too familiar with, you know, familiar with most of them. Don't know many of the other coaches other than Barry Lundy. I know one of their assistant coaches, but they've got a great staff, and I know they're going to get that program going.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you, Mark.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.